Welcome back to Retirement by Faith. There are some people who have invested in individual stocks who have done extremely well. They've made a lot of money. It's incredible. There are even more people, though, who have invested in individual stocks who haven't done very well, and they've lost money, and it's discouraging. And I wanted to talk in this video how in retirement we personally have chosen to invest in low-cost index funds, exchange-traded funds like the Vanguard Total Stock Market. We prefer that over buying individual stocks. The first reason why is because it gives you instant diversification. Usually when people buy individual stocks, they try to diversify across sectors. They'll get a stock in technology, or they'll buy a stock in health, or they'll buy a stock in consumer discretionary, or in energy, or in telecommunications, and that's good for them. But when you buy one single index fund, like the S&P 500, ticker symbol VOO for Vanguards, or VTI, the total U.S. stock market. When you do that, you're instantly diversified. When you have VTI, you own every single publicly traded company in America, so that everyone who works for those companies, from the factory floor to the front office, they're working to make you richer. They're working to make America better. And that's why I like those index funds. Second reason why is because they perform well. I mean, why buy an easy peasy index fund if it's going to stink? Why buy it if you're going to lose money? That would be dumb. But those funds have done very well over time because they're not trying to manipulate the market. They're simply going with the market. They are tracking with the market. It's another reason why we like them. And they've done extremely well through the years. A third reason why we like buying low-cost index funds like VTI and VOO is because it only takes a few minutes. You know, when you're buying individual stocks and you're watching those, that takes a lot of work. You have to read reports from companies, you've got to research, you got to investigate, you got to listen to podcasts and programs, and then when one stock's doing well and one stock's not doing well, you got to figure out why that's that's way too much work. I want to live my life. I don't want to hide behind a computer forever. I don't want to be worried, over how a particular company is performing. You buy index funds, you either have your financial advisor do it or you can go online and buy those shares. Just takes a few minutes and you can get back to living the life you feel called to live. Another reason, a fourth reason why we like buying index funds instead of individual stocks is that they have very low fees. I remember when I had a variable annuity with an insurance company, they said, we'll guarantee that you're going to get 6% every year, no matter how the stock market does. And that felt very, very encouraging, and that was very enticing because, the first 10 years of the 2000s, there were a lot of rough times in the economy. So I thought, guaranteed 6%. But you know what I found out? That it was only a guaranteed 6% of the minimum income base. So if you had $180,000, you were guaranteed 6% off of $128,000. And the rest of your money, the $50-some thousand, the insurance company could do whatever they want with it and invest it how they like. Not only that, you also were paying fees like crazy with those funds. I couldn't believe how expensive they were. So when the opportunity came to roll out of it, I rolled out of it. With the Vanguard low-cost index funds, or with Schwab or whoever you get them through, the fees are really, really low. With the Vanguard, it's like 0.03%. That's ridiculous. That's tremendously low. The rest of that investment money goes to you, the investor. A fifth reason why I prefer index funds over buying individual stocks is that it prevents me from making emotional decisions and emotional mistakes. Let's say I decide to buy Meta or Facebook because I think it's going to go up, up, up. But then when they have their next report, let's say their third quarter report, and they say, oh, things are slowing down and ad revenue is rising. And then when people hear that, the stock starts to tank and you're like, oh no, I went in thinking that one company was going to do good and it's not doing good. Sell, sell, sell. And you make an emotional decision. And not everybody's going to do that when that happens, but a lot of people do get emotional when they see the price of their stock going down. And so when you buy an index fund, you're not just locking in the one stock. You are buying the entire economy of the United States of America, which is the greatest economy in the world. Number 6, another reason why I prefer index funds is that it eliminates company-specific risk. Even a really, really good individual company could have rough times, or maybe they end up eventually going out of business. Let me show you something. In 2005, these were the top 10 companies in the S&P 500. ExxonMobil, that was the largest company in the world at that time, the oil company. General Electric, number 2. They're not even in the S&P 500 anymore. They've had such bad times. We'll get to that. Number 3, Microsoft. Number 4, Citigroup. The 5th largest company in 2005 was Pfizer. Number 6, Walmart. Number 7, Johnson & Johnson. They make, the Head and Shoulders shampoo and baby shampoo, soaps. Number 8, American International Group, AIG. At that time, before the 2008 crash, they were the biggest insurer in the world. Number 9, Procter & Gamble, consumer goods, Ivory soap, Dial soap. They make a lot of products that we need. And number 10, the Bank of America. Those were the 10 largest cap companies in the United States in 2005. Guess how many of those are still in the top 10 in 2025? 1. Microsoft. See, that's the thing about buying individual stocks, is they might be flying high in 2025, but at some point when you least expect it, they might not be flying as high. Right now, the top 10 companies, only Microsoft is in the top 10 from 2005. All the others are newer. NVIDIA, Apple, Alphabet, Google, Amazon, Broadcom, Meta, Facebook, Tesla, Berkshire Hathaway, that's Warren Buffett's company, and then Eli Lilly. So when you buy an index fund, you don't have to worry about which company is going to fall off because the index is self-cleansing. Another company is going to take its place in the top 10. So I like the security of the index funds. Another reason why I prefer index funds is it's difficult to beat the market with individual stocks because, in part, our emotions play into it. There are some people on YouTube that I've watched who have done really well with individual stocks, and I admire their skill. I like Jeremy on financial education. That's not the way I invest. I don't like to buy the individual stocks like he does, but I admire those who do well. But it's very few people can replicate that or duplicate that. That's why even Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway, one of the greatest investors in the history of the United States, says 98% of us should just buy an index fund and not try to mess with individual stocks. Number 8, the index automatically adjusts as the market changes. I like that. I don't have to figure out what's going to be in the next top 10 because the index automatically will pick what's going to be in the next top 10. when General Electric fell off and Tesla came in instead, I didn't have to worry about doing anything. I just kept investing in Vanguard Total Stock Market. And number 9, it's extremely tax efficient, getting those exchange traded fund ETFs, the Vanguard in particular. And number 10, I'm investing in the entire American economy, and I feel very good about that. So those are the 10 reasons why I prefer personally to do index funds. Let me add an 11th reason, because in retirement, the goal isn't just profiting, it's also protecting your nest egg. You don't want to take undue, unnecessary risks in retirement. We follow a variation of what we call the 3-bucket system. Bucket number 1 has the cash that we would use over the next 2 to 3 years. That's checking and savings. Bucket number 2 has money for the next 7 or 8 years invested very conservatively in money funds that don't go up and down with the market. And then bucket number 3, that's got funds that we will use later, and those are our Vanguard index funds where we have that money. And in years when Vanguard does really, really well, like the last few years, we'll take some of the profits from that and move that over to the first 2 buckets. So that's basically what we do. I'm not giving you financial advice that you have to follow, but this is me personally speaking why we prefer the index fund ETFs. Well, I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you guys have a great day. We'll catch you in the next video.